Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this day is finding you in great spirits and all of that. We have got a lot to talk about, or there's a big piece here that we need to talk about. So we're going to be jumping in here fairly quickly. So jump on in, get in here as quickly as you can, because we got a lot to look at. There's a lot in this particular this letter, this open letter, I guess, that was written. And we have to dissect it, and we need enough time to dissect it. So hop on in, because I'm going to be hopping into this piece fairly fast, fairly soon, because I'm on a tight schedule this evening, okay? And trust me, it all makes sense a little bit later on in the near future. But please do me a favor. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. That's number one. Not do me a favor, have a good one. Just saying, hopefully you're having a good one. But do me a favor, okay? Some quick housekeeping before we jump into everything. Hit that like button down below. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, hit that reaction button. You know the drill if you've been watching this show. But if you have been watching this show and you haven't done this yet, hit that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching on Facebook, do the same thing. Hit that follow button, that like button over there, okay? Share this feed if you can. That'd be greatly appreciated as well. Your boy's working hard out here in these streets to give you guys the conversation, the stories, and the information that you need for the day, the week, whatever you're watching this show, okay? So make sure you hit that follow button, you hit that subscribe button, whichever platform you're watching this show right here, okay? And of course, if you want to support the channel in any way, please join my Patreon, patreon.com/thepascalshow. It's in this ticker right there, just going down right below you, right below me right now, okay? If you want to support over there, or if you want to become a member, by all means, on the YouTube channel and support this channel, that'd be greatly appreciated as well. Hit that join button down below and become a member of the family. It is less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Yeah, it's cheap. Well, you know what I mean. If you can afford it, it'd be greatly appreciated, okay? All right, guys, we got to get into some things. We got a lot to look at. There's a lot to talk about. And this is some very, very interesting information, to say the least. So we're going to get just right into it, okay? Again, let people know that we are live. Let people know the show is on and popping right now. Okay, because we got some things to talk about, but this is very, very damning. This is not good for Diddy. Again, we've already been known that, okay? We've been watching stuff for a while. We've been reading a lot of articles. We've been reacting to a lot of videos, a lot of people who have been talking recently about Diddy. There's been old videos that have come back and have resurfaced, have been back into the rumor zeitgeist, okay, where everybody and their mom has been talking about them and saying, wait a second, people been had receipts for decades, and now we're finally starting to believe certain people, or the people that are starting to talk, okay? Or how about this? Even better, for those of y'all who are still in the dark, still thinking that this man is innocent and all that stuff, I leave that up to you, okay? I leave that decision up to you. But at the same time, for those of y'all who do think that you think that he did nothing and he is innocent, for a fact, all the information that is starting to circle back is starting to tickle your inquisitive side. I'm sure it is. At least a part of you is going, wait, what the F is the truth here? And that's okay. Because no matter what, we still haven't found him guilty in a court of law. All he's done is settle outside of court on Cassie's scathing lawsuit, civil lawsuit that she filed a few weeks back. That's the only thing that he's done. Now, in the court of public opinion, the majority is basically saying him guilty, okay? Him do some bad things. Real talk. All right. But then, there's the other side. There's still people out here that are going, hey, leave my boy alone. He did so much for the culture, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't matter. You can still do a lot for the culture and still be a monster out here behind closed doors. Now we got some more information, okay? And this is, like I said, not good for Diddy. The reason why I say that, because I know some of y'all going, what does that mean, Pascal? Why do you say it's bad? Now, obviously, you're clicking on this because you've seen the title above, down below, wherever you're watching the show. So you already know this is some bad stuff coming. So we got a best friend, co-writer of Cassie's songs, this woman by the name of Tiffany Red, has come out and she wrote a letter, basically a letter to Sean Combs. It literally says, "Dear Sean Combs." Let me just show it to you. It says right here. We're going to be looking through we're going to be reading this entire letter, y'all. Hence the reason why I said we're going to have to hop into this fairly quickly, because obviously there's a lot to break down and look into this letter. Now, the Rolling Stone magazine, Rolling Stone, published this letter, but this is from Tiffany Red. And she even says within the first paragraph, within the first few sentences of this thing, she's saying that she's breaking her silence. But the reason why she's breaking her silence and putting this out here for everybody to see is so that she can protect her own self, because she is in fear of her life. Literally. Imagine that. She's saying, I have to put this stuff out in the public to say, I seen it all. I witnessed things. And that what Cassie is saying here is absolutely true. But I have to put this out into the public because I'm scared that I might just disappear. I might just mysteriously vanish in thin air. So I got to use this to protect myself, because if anything funky goes down, y'all know the deal. Y'all know the deal. And you already know who could possibly be behind my reason of going. That was supposed to be the sound effect of vanishing. Okay. Like vaporizing. You get it? Hopefully you did. So let's get into this, okay? We got to get into this because this is meaty. Very, very meaty. And there's a lot. It's a very big letter. So ride with me, okay? So it says, and of course, again, let me remind you, this is Tiffany Red. Tiffany Red is a singer. She's a songwriter. She has written a bunch of other hits. She helped write a lot of Cassie songs, etc. She is in the industry, okay? And apparently was very, very close friends, if not still close friends with Cassie as well. So yeah, this is kind of important, kind of an important letter to have written here. So let's talk about this. So it says, Dear Sean Combs, I'm stepping forward to recount my experience as a witness to events detailed in my friend Cassandra Ventura now settled civil lawsuit against you. I'm breaking my silence, freeing myself from haunting recollections, standing in solidarity with Cassie, and standing up for myself. I fear for my safety, as her suit alludes to me, although not by name. I hope that revealing my identity to the public will afford me some measure of protection. Now, there's a little bit of history here. Cassie and I became friends in 2015 after co-writing songs for her album that you never released. We remain close to this very day. I'm one of the friends mentioned in her lawsuit, specifically from the night of her 29th birthday, as detailed in the section labeled Mr. Combs Forces Cassie into ST. The weight is heavy as I gather my thoughts to articulate these distressing memories, physical reactions, the surge of heat on my face, sweaty palms, racy heart, and the onset of panic attack. The onset of a panic attack serve as stark reminders of the toll it's taking. I am traumatized by you. The burden of vocalizing these experiences should never have been mine or anyone else's. Now, I'm just going to say this really quick because apparently in LA, in California, apparently the statutes of limitations is a little bit longer than what it was in New York. And there could be a lot more women stepping forward and speaking about this and coming out as victims of Diddy. I'm just saying that out loud, just so that you guys know, because you think that, oh, it's only going to be people, and the tidal wave is over. No, it may not be over. There are still other states that have statutes of limitations that last till God knows how long. There's a possibility of California, women who live in California or women who want to file in California. That's a very strong possibility here. Diddy's in some serious trouble. Period. I mean, we all already know that. But now for her, ask yourself this as we go through this article. What charges could she file against Diddy herself? Just remember that. Put that in the back of your mind, because she went through some things. Or at least she claims to have gone through some serious things. She's describing PTSD, for crying out loud here, guys. And she continues on in the rest of this article. So let's continue here, okay? Because there's more. I met you in person in August 2015 at a surprise party you threw for Cassie's 29th birthday at a hotel in Los Angeles. I was at her old apartment before the party with friends in the Wilshire Corridor condos right down the street from your home. Remember, he owned everything that Cassie ever had. Okay? Her condos, her homes, her apartments, her cars. Shoot, it almost seemed like the clothes on her back and the food that she ate was all Diddy's money, was all owned by Diddy. Okay, just a quick reminder of that, guys, from the actual lawsuit, the documents. Okay, so rushed by calls. Okay, yeah, rushed by calls from your team about her ETA. We were in a frenzy to get her ready without spoiling the surprise. We all piled into a black car service from our home to the party. We arrived at the area reserved for the party at the hotel, and you popped out singing happy birthday. There were many friends, a few famous faces, and cameras recording as we sang. She was definitely surprised. Eventually, we all started to mingle around the room. Up until that point, I'd only spoken to you once before on FaceTime with Cassie about songs we were working on together. You approached me and introduced yourself saying, "So you're the one writing all these songs about me?" I said, "Yes." And you stared back and said, "That means she's talking to you, huh?" I was uncomfortable because it seemed like you were talking about the more turbulent parts of your relationship. This is crazy. We did a song called Loyal that you didn't like. We were writing about her pain. In the first verse of that song, she sings, "I don't know what is real. I just know how I feel." And you keep acting like you don't know what you did wrong, trying to get me to chill. Since we ain't been together, I've been on some whatever. She was pushing back in that song. You later came back up to me and said you were playing. I didn't believe you. One of your security guards did something similar. I'd never met him before either. He approached me and said, I heard a lot about you, Tiffany. You both creeped me out. And this interaction was super intimidating. It felt like you both wanted me to know that you knew who I was and you didn't like how close I was to her. Now, one thing I want to say here really quick is when the bodyguard, who's the bodyguard? And I ain't talking about Kevin Costner, okay? Who's the bodyguard that comes up and says this to her? I'm curious. Is it one of the two that's been speaking out recently? Or no? But you got to remember, he did have, like, from what we've heard, he had his own set of goons. He had his own set of people that worked for him that would go around and intimidate people subconsciously, not subconsciously, like send out subliminal messages of like, hey, you know, we know you. We know what you're doing. Not putting out actual verbal threats, but implying. We know. And you better stop that without actually saying that. You feel me? Pretty interesting stuff, though. So even the guard came up to her and said a little something. Very interesting. Let's continue here. Later that evening, after being at the party since it started that afternoon, so this was a long party, y'all. Okay, Cassie wanted to go to a karaoke spot called the Blind Dragon on Sunset Boulevard with some friends. You were not happy that she was leaving. I remember your people hovering around us, trying to discourage Cassie from leaving, but we went anyway. You followed us and arrived just a little bit after we did. It was instantly uncomfortable. You pulled Cassie out of the private karaoke room. She put her head down and went with you. I followed to see if she was okay because something was off. When she walked into the room, you had her backed into a corner in the hallway outside of the door, and your security surrounded you two as you cursed her out with your hands in her face. She and I briefly made eye contact. I felt helpless. She looked afraid, and she looked afraid and kept looking down at the floor. I didn't know what to do. I was scared. Karaoke, and here's a little photo of them together, as you can see up on the top here, where my mouse is, right? Karaoke was cut short because you wanted her to leave with you. Cassie asked me and two other friends if we'd meet her back at her place and stay the night. She was stopping at her house first to grab a bag and then going with you. I said yes because I was worried you would hurt her. Prior to this incident, she had confided in me that you were physically got to use these code words, and the way you were in her face that night was alarming to me. I didn't want her to leave alone. You know what? And also, I want to say this too while I'm getting this figured out. One thing I find very interesting too is that she is, Cassie clearly is going, "Hey, do you want to come over tonight?" And I'm hoping she at that time was saying that out loud in front of Diddy. Because if you really think about it, if she came back home messed up, like in physical, like showing physical, showing that he was physical on her, right? Cuts and bruises and whatnot. If she showed up like that, those girls would talk. Her friends that were over at her house. So she clearly was doing that, not only because she wanted to spend time with her friends, but also she was trying to cover her ass. She was trying to protect her own self by letting Diddy know that, hey, whatever you end up trying to do to me tonight, I am going back home to my friends who are going to be waiting for me at my crib. So if I look all messed up, they're going to know it's you that hurt me. It's so crazy, guys. It's so crazy. Yeah, Tyler, it's a complete wrap. It's done, baby. It's a wrap, son. He ain't got nothing because you got another person stepping out and speaking. And I will say, I will say something about this here in just a minute, because, I know that there's the naysayers, and we got to talk about that other side of the fence. So hold on one second. Let's get into this a little bit more. So when we got back to her house, she kept saying that to us, she didn't want to go with you, but you were already on your way to pick her up. One of our friends was packing an overnight bag for her. I'll never forget it. It was the biggest Birkin bag I'd ever seen. It was blue. I kept asking why they were packing her stuff if she clearly said she didn't want to go with you. And this person said she always goes. Huh. She always goes. That's crazy too. And if you guys remember about the story about her shaving half of her head, and Diddy was like, yo, he saw this, apparently this white girl walking down these stairs at a club and half her head was shaved. And he turned to her and he goes, you're going to shave your head just like that white girl. And somebody was like, well, why would you do that? And she said, well, whatever Diddy wants, Diddy gets. Whether she wanted to shave half her head off or not. If Diddy wants it, that's what Diddy gets. So even in this, she always goes. No matter if there's pushback, no matter if she doesn't want to go, it doesn't matter. She's still going. And other people around her knew this ish too. That's crazy. Let's continue. My Lord. It's a wrap for him, son. And he's sitting here going, enough is enough. Come on, man. Come on. It's a wrap, son. Okay, let's go on. You arrived at the door and whisked her away. Cassie looked uneasy. I didn't know where you were taking her. Once you left, the person who packed the bag said, they'll be back. Watch. It was almost like they had seen this movie before. A few hours later, I was woken up by screaming. Emotional singing. B, where are you? You and Cassie were back. It was around 3 or 4 a.m. I walked out of her bedroom where I was asleep. You yelled, emotional singing. B, there you are. I was mortified, humiliated, and scared when I realized you were talking to me. You were visibly intoxicated, and so was Cassie. She appeared sedated and very withdrawn. It was the first time I'd seen her this way. You started screaming at us. Tell your girl she wants some birthday D. I flew all the way from Miami. She gonna get this birthday D. You were visibly angry that she didn't want that from you. I was terrified. I said, she doesn't have to have relations with you if she doesn't want to. You just kept screaming, she gonna get this D. All I kept thinking about was how before you came to get her and she was sober, she kept telling us how she didn't want to go with you. Now, okay, hold on. So he's screaming, you're going to get this birthday D. You're going to get this D and all that. He's blitzed. She's out of it too. Tiffany says that this young Cassie at that time was sedated and withdrawn. And now, whatever it was, Diddy is upset because whatever was being said between them during that time that they were off, when they left for those few hours, maybe Cassie was doing some pushback. I don't know. But it's so wild that he's like, yo, you gonna eat this cake, anime. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that, except, with the D, but that's really just messed up. Let's continue. Let's continue. That's just messed up. You two left her place in chaos on a golf cart and drove into the night. What? A golf cart. And if I'm correct, he said he flew all the way from Miami, right? Hold on. Let me make sure. Because, I flew all the way from Miami. So this must be in New York. So this must have been the the situation in New York. This is crazy, though, y'all. This is absolutely crazy. DJ Sauls, yeah, he's finished. He is most definitely finished. It's a wrap. It is a wrap. Him and Russell and Russell Simmons are going to be living on a little private island by themselves. Real talk. All by themselves. So they drove off in this golf cart. That's where we are. And I'm wondering if this was in New York, if this was, I'm trying to remember exactly her 29th birthday lawsuit documents. I'm going to look that up here in a second. All right. Just so I can have the jurisdiction of where he was, because you're driving in a golf cart where, and you're drunk as hell. You see what I'm saying? And she's at her condo, for crying out loud, too. So in other words, you're operating this machine, this golf cart in the streets. But where, though? I'm trying to remember. So let's go. Let's continue. So he drives off into the night, drunk as hell. We watched you from her balcony, driving towards your house. I thought you were going to get pulled over and go to jail or crash from being so high. It was like a real life scary movie. I was terrified for Cassie and completely traumatized. She later told me you made her have a freak off, which Cassie described in her lawsuit as a quote unquote arrangement where you make her perform acts with other male workers that night. The reason you called me Emotional Singing Bee was because you were listening to new songs we wrote during the freak off that had begun after you came to get her earlier that night. So he was listening to the music that she was writing, that they were working on, whilst doing the freak off. That's crazy. So he was working and playing, disturbingly, disgustingly playing at the same time. That's messed up. So it was California, right? That's what I was going to say. If it was California, because if it's driving to his house, it's not going to be New York. So he drove off. Yeah, it must have been California, but that's still crazy though. Driving off in a golf cart to his home, and I know that her condo was near his home, but still, he's still driving that golf cart on the road, drunk as hell, taking her off to go to these FOs, these freak offs. And whilst he is directing her and traumatizing this young woman for the umpteenth time, he is listening to new unreleased records that they have been working together. Tiffany and Cassie have been working together. And while he's watching her be the star of his own disgusting, messed up, demented videos, he's listening to her new records. That's insane. That's insane. Okay. So, wow. So I'm disturbed to my core by this. It makes me think it must have been songs Cassie hadn't recorded yet that were still demos. I can't begin to explain how it feels, how it makes me feel, thinking about my voice playing in the background of that nightmare. So he was listening to tracks that they were working on. They weren't finished. A lot of these tracks were probably scratch tracks with Tiffany's voice on it. So in other words, oh my God, that's so messed up, y'all. So he was working and doing this disturbing stuff at the same damn time. That is so jacked up. Do you understand that? That's so disturbing, y'all. Let's continue, but that's really messed up. So throughout my time knowing Cassie, I've seen many concerning instances. So she's seen a lot of ish, y'all. Like I said, she said, I seen it. I seen it. She's seen it, things, babies. There were occasions when I heard you yelling at her and making threats, observed her so high I was afraid of her ODing at a party you threw for her in Malibu, and witnessed both of you getting IVs after a different night of partying. Interesting. Additionally, when I was part of her management team in 2019, A year after she was able to leave you, I saw you try to silence her by attempting to tie a disparagement clause to her record deal termination agreement, which felt unjust. So he still tried to find ways to control this woman. Even when her contract was up, she was about to leave and trying to find ways to get out. He was still trying to find some crafty legal way of keeping Cassie for himself. Remember, how many hits does Cassie have? I'm just saying, be real. Think about how many records she has, how many albums she has. Think about that for a second. And she was with him for a long time. Imagine that. Imagine that. Yes. Last I checked, there's only one. At least under Bad Boy Records, only one album. And then after that, it's just that's it. It's a wrap, son. That's it. Crazy. And yet he still was trying to keep his claws sunk into this woman. Even when it was time for her to be like, okay, our contract is up. I'm going to leave. I can finally get emancipated from this monster. He was still going, wait, well, I got this clause though. We're gonna keep you here for a little bit. This dude is an absolute, utter piece of, he's dog water. Okay? So let's continue. With Cassie bravely sharing her story, I finally feel free. I'm finally free to share mine. Sorry, guys. That night of the night of her birthday and so many others are burned in my brain and have tormented me since. I feel compelled to show up for Cassie and myself and confirm that everything she described in her complaint about what happened that night is consistent with what I experienced. Boom. Where's a bomb noise? Do I have a bomb noise? Do I even have a bomb noise? Do I? I'm wondering. I don't think I do. I was kind of hoping I did, but I'll just use. So she said everything that she says in that part that she was witness to is absolutely consistent with what she saw with her own two eyes as well. Cassie and I became close while writing songs together nearly a decade ago. One of our friends used to call us Tiffandra. Never could I have imagined this is how it would turn out. The music I helped create for her suffered due to these events, compounding the trauma. It's devastating. I still mourn that time in my songwriting career. Now, when I hear these kind of things, I keep wondering, where can she? Is it a possibility where she could sue for just being witness to these things? What she experienced herself, I'm wondering, okay? Because there's more here as you hear right here. There's more here as you hear right here. Right here. I continue to work through the PTSD, paranoia, and anxiety from these events. It's one of the catalysts for my advocacy for music creatives today with my organization, the 100%ers. Your A of power has inflicted ongoing harm on countless individuals, including myself, my friends, and my peers. You are a literal pillar in Black music. So many of us looked up to you. This moment hurts for us. This moment hurts for us too. But no one deserves to endure all of this, Puff. It's not right. You're hurting the very Black and brown people you say you love and support. Woo! It pains me to write this letter to you as a Black woman. But when will this cycle of abuse stop? It has to stop. Let me just say this really quick. She ain't wrong when she says, oh, You know, he's naming him, he names himself Brother Love. He's got a whole album about to come out called Love, dedicated to Kim Porter. You got him sitting there going, oh, I'm all for the people. I'm all for black and brown people, trying to lift us up, so on and so forth. And what is he doing? He's still owning, he's still A-ing, he's still tormenting the people, the very people that support and love him as well. That is the truth. I mean, now let's just say this too. All of it is alleged. But when you have somebody going out of their way to settle a multi-million-dollar lawsuit with less than 24 hours of it being filed and shelled out into the public, it does tell you something. It does tell you something for real. Okay? I'm just saying. Let's continue. There's a little bit more, but it does tell you something. Recent events, such as the unveiling of accusations against numerous former record label CEOs, artists for SA due to the Adult Survivors Act in New York, underscore the gravity of the situation. The systemic issues of our culture and misogyny deeply entrenched in the music industry pose a threat, a real threat, to so many people's safety every day in this business. How can we expect meaningful change when senior leadership and superstars face accusations of these crimes? She's asking a damn good question. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. That's a damn good question. Because yes, the system, the entertainment business, it's not only just the music industry, it's the entertainment business that is just absolutely corrupt. And it's beyond just misogyny. It's just corrupt, y'all. It's rotten to the core. I hate to say it like that. Don't get me wrong. I love myself a good movie. Okay. I'm a huge movie file. I love music. I'm a creative myself. I'd love to have my chance at the brass ring too, my name and lights and all that stuff, but I'm not willing to risk everything, including my own dignity and my own integrity, just so my name is in the lights. F all of that. The system is corrupt, and she's absolutely right about that. It's beyond just the music industry. I get what she's saying because she's speaking from that angle. But imagine that, y'all. Because you look at all these stars and all the stars, I'm saying stars in general, and you look at them. Some of them are born into it, literally because their parents were superstars. So then they just kind of have this wonderful thing called nepotism, and they just walk in and they get these Oscar winning roles just because they were two people went and made a baby, okay? And those names happen to be big names, right? But then there's other people out here that literally will lose their own soul. And I'm not trying to say anything about evil, demonic stuff. I'm not saying any of that Illuminati crap, okay? I'm just saying in general. There's a lot of people that will do some really disgusting things just so that they can get a shot. Because those gatekeepers are just as demented and effed up as their predecessors. And you got to remember, this is all a generational thing. It goes from one big suit to the next to the next. And the thing is that even that big suit, that big wig that runs that movie production house or that big record company, they're looking at the next, who's going to be my predecessor? Who's willing to be, are you cool? Are you down? Sniff this, drink that, F this, record that, do this, all this nasty stuff. Are you willing to do what it takes to be in this business? And people, there's a line out the door of people that are sitting there going, yes, I have no problem doing that. Give me the shot. That's the problem. That's the problem, y'all. If we weren't so busy raising these mother lovers up, the ones that are doing the real crappy, corrupt stuff out here in these streets, if we actually put morals back into the system, then the system would change. And it'll be based on talent, not because you're willing to do whatever it takes. whatever corrupt and nasty thing you need to do just so you can have your name out or just so you can have a record play on the radio. Think about that for a second, y'all. Think about that for a second. It's generational in the industry, in entertainment business too. And I feel like it's the same thing in a lot of other systems as well. Politics, you name it. It's all the same BS. But apparently it's like you got to go through this hazing process to prove that you're cool enough to be a part of this fraternity, the secret society of whatever the hell. When there are so many other people out here that have more talent in their pinky nail than some of these people that are gracing the screens every day. Yeah, I said it, and I don't care. Something needs to change. The system needs to change. It really does. But I also notice, even when it comes to social media, the social media stars that everyone just puts on a pedestal and all that stuff, it's almost like we're doing the same crap all over again. Because I've seen so many talented people that only get 5 or 6 views, right? And then you got another person just because their hair is frosted in some sort of way or some BS. You know what I'm saying? Because they have, I don't know. They're the ones who get thrusted into pop culture. Some of these people, like I'm telling you, some of these, like, yeah, I said frosted. You know what I mean? These frosted tip things or whatever, you know what I mean? Or their hair is, dyed a certain way or they look a certain look. But then there's these other people that are down home, real talent, and they just never get the looks, the views, the clicks, the respect, the downloads, the streams, the buys, like some of these other people who are out here just doing stupid, disgusting stuff. That's just me. That's just my opinion. Let me continue. I'm sorry. She had a good point, though. Okay? It's sad. And then once you get into the system, it's like you say you're going to do everything you can to change everything. Like, when I get big, when I get get in there, I'm going to bring in all my people with me. It doesn't happen. It doesn't. I've never seen that. It's very rare. Very, very rare. I'll say that. But let me continue. I'm sorry. I'll get off my softbox. I'll get off my soapbox. But something really needs to change. The power imbalance makes it nearly impossible to fight back and terrifying to speak up. But despite that, here I am, standing beside my friend. There are moments in life where some of us have to face the hard choice of speaking truth to power or not. This is one of those moments. And if I'm correct, that is all she wrote. Literally. That's all she wrote, y'all. Literally, this is all she wrote. Now, let me tell you something. Because I said earlier I was going to play the other side of the fence. We got to play the other side of the fence. And I know some of y'all are like, don't do a brand scale, but I got to. Because I already know that there's going to be people in the comments, clicking away on their QWERTY keyboard saying this. Oh, she getting paid. She getting a couple mil off of this from Cassie. This is I call cap and all that. Listen, I'm telling you right now, she is risking everything, not only her neck, but her career as well. Because for a fact there are other people out there in the system, in the game, in the entertainment business that are not comfortable with somebody being willing to step forward and talk on this stuff as well. There's always going to be some sort of judgment on her too. She is taking not only a physical life risk, she's also taking a financial risk as well. Think about that for a second too, guys. As much as we sit here and we go, hey, she's out here and she's saying this stuff. Yeah, she's going to get some fight. No. What if she wants to continue writing? What if she still wants to be a part of the game and still make great music and write for really talented artists out here? And she can't now because she wrote something like this. Because she is backing her friend. Now, I get it. the general public or the court of public opinion, or at least one side of the public, is looking at Diddy right now like a pariah out here in these streets. I get that, but there's the other side though too. There's other producers, there's other record execs, higher ups that probably will look at this open letter or this letter to Diddy and say, no, we can't hire her, man, because she could write another letter about me. She could write another letter about the producer that's, you know, the engineer that's making the next big hit for our next big star. So can we even trust her? So she's taking a huge professional risk as well. Just because you got millions in your pocket doesn't mean that you don't wake up every day wanting to do that thing that you love every single day. Think about that too. Imagine if you had multiple millions of dollars. Now, I don't know about you. I'd still be working. Sure, I'd be traveling a lot more. There'd be less stress. I'd have a lot more nicer things, whole bunch of cars. I know for a fact I'd be collecting cars and really nice watches. Okay, because that's just who I am and that's the stuff I like. But every single day, doesn't matter if I have $17 million or $17 in my bank account, I'm still waking up wanting to craft and wanting to work on my passions. You can't just go chill and do nothing. You're still going to want to do what you want to, you're still going to want to do things that you love. If you're a great painter, if you're a great photographer, if you're a great cook, if you're good at numbers, stocks and whatnot, or even if you're a great songwriter, you're going to want to continue to write. You're still going to want to have that feeling of putting pen to paper every chance you get, because that is a passion that you have inside of you. So it doesn't matter how much money you have or don't have. You're still going to be going after your passions, at least on the side, you know what I mean, from time to time. You ain't going to just sit around and do nothing. You ain't. It's a love affair. It's like Romeo and Juliet. It's like it's peanut butter and jelly. You know what I'm saying? It's a part of you. So as much as we sit here and go, oh yeah, she getting paid. Nah, she ain't getting paid. She did this because she saw things. At least that's what I believe. But I do know that there's people out here that think different. And I say, hey, if you want to think different, that is on you. But how I'm reading this, she saw some things. She witnessed some things. Cassie has gone through some seriously unbelievable moments in her life that I don't think anyone would want to ever witness on the outside or even personally take it themselves. Ain't no way. So now we look at this. And I'm going to ask you guys, what say you guys? How you feel about it in the comment section? Please comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this, okay? Keza just said that letter was personal. Yeah, it was hella personal. It does make me wonder. I guess the other part would be, well, I mean, because there's the other part of, because I know that some people sit here and go, why didn't she put this out earlier? Why didn't she write this letter before? Why didn't she have her Oprah moment a long time ago? And I say, hey, people get scared. Especially when even in the beginning of this letter, she said, he came up and he goes, oh yeah, so you guys are talking about me. And then even the security guard came up and said, yeah, like, I see you. And if you're trying to get into this game and you're trying to get into this system, it could be very terrifying because you don't know what these people are capable of. You just write. You rhyme. That's it. You a poet that writes verses on top of melodies and on beats. You ain't Conor McGregor. I mean, shoot. You don't know how deep his pockets go and his connections go and how volatile some of these goons can really be. And imagine the amount of rumors she's heard already about Biggie, Tupac, all those things. And then she's meeting this man in face to face for the very first time. And he is intimidating as all get out. And then his little minions and his goons come over and like, yeah, we know who you are. Yeah, that's crazy, y'all. That's scary. That's absolutely scary, guys. So I understand her taking her time to write this, and she's basically backing and confirming what Cassie said. And she's saying, I seen it. I saw it all. And there's nothing wrong with her saying it now or 2 days from now or 3 years from now. But what we know is that she's confirming without a shadow of a doubt that Cassie went through some things. And every dollar that she's gotten from that civil lawsuit was rightfully gained. One thing I do want to know, though, too, is can she see any charges filed against Diddy from her? That's one thing I'm wondering as well. Because maybe he stopped her, tried to stop her from being able to work, and so on. I don't know. But I'm curious what she could file against Diddy in this situation. Remember, though, we've only seen New York. We got California as well. We even got Florida. Don't forget Florida. Miami, New York. Florida, New York, California. Shoot, there could be Chicago, even Atlanta, depending on what their statutes of limitations are. But California is still open. And I wouldn't be surprised if more victims start stepping forward out in California. It's coming. It's definitely coming. Like I said, this is like another Russell Simmons situation. I wouldn't be surprised if he's hopping on a plane and trying to fly and get out of this country as quickly as possible, especially when the criminal charges are actually filed, because they could possibly be coming, guys. Think about that too. And I know I've been saying that a lot. Think about that. But think about that. He could literally do a Russell Simmons. And the reason why I mentioned Russell Simmons really, really quick is Russell Simmons did break his silence today. Well, actually yesterday. He had an interview on another show, and he basically broke down everything. Talking about the allegations, talking about Kimora Lee, talking about everything. It's a very, very interesting interview. I may do that as a pop-up or as a discussion tomorrow. I don't know yet, but still very damning information that's come out, and very funny stuff that he says in it too. And I don't mean funny like ha ha, like funny like you really just said that. So if I do that, it'll probably be first thing in the morning. Okay. But I'm very happy that Tiffany Red did speak out. I really do appreciate her speaking out and saying what she said. Even though I'm telling you right now, I believe Cassie. I believe that lawsuit. I really do believe that in my heart of hearts. I feel that she is saying absolutely 110% the truth. It was solidified even more after that lawsuit was settled within 24 hours. But what solidifies it even more, puts another nail in that coffin, is this letter specifically to Sean Diddy Combs. I'm going to say right now, I think more women are going to be stepping out here very, very soon. And the total is going to be absolutely astronomically shocking. And it won't just be in New York. More's coming. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate you guys for coming in. Seriously, it really does mean a lot. Thank you so much for showing the love and being a part of the conversation. For those of y'all who are watching the repeat or the replay, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, okay? You know, your boy's working hard out here in these streets, so I appreciate you coming in and sharing the love and watching, okay? But do me a favor, before you head out, hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on Facebook, okay? Your boy's working hard out here in these streets. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, crush that follow button, please and thank you, okay? I'm sorry I couldn't do a call-in segment or a speak on it segment today, but don't worry, I will try to do that tomorrow when we get our conversation moving on some other topics, okay? But if you want to support the channel, like I've said before, please go and hit that patreon.com/The Pascal Show if you want to support the channel. Or if you want to just support the channel on YouTube, just crush that join button and become a member of the family. Okay, guys? That'd be greatly appreciated. I got to get going, guys, but I love every single last one of y'all. You guys are amazing. Have a great, wonderful rest of your evening. Okay? It'd be greatly appreciated if you have a good rest of your evening. There it is. Okay. Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. Much love to you guys. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Okay. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.